Chamber UK is joined today by League Against Cruel Sports Acting Chief Executive Chris Luffingham. Chris has been a leading voice in the fight to end cruel hunting practices in the UK. Recently, the League has intensified its efforts to close a loophole in the Hunting Act of 2004 that allows for illegal fox hunting under the guise of trail hunting. This loophole has been exploited, leading to significant animal cruelty and disruption in rural communities. Chris is here to discuss the current situation and the impact on wildlife and local areas. Chris, for the first question, can you elaborate on the specific loophole in the Hunting Act that allows illegal fox hunting to persist, and how trail hunting is being used as a smokescreen for this practice?
Well, thank you for having me. It's not one loophole, it's 9 loopholes. There are 9 exemptions to the Hunting Act, which allows hunts any number of different ways in which to circumvent the law. Now, shortly after the Hunting Act was brought in 2005, the hunting community created what is called trail hunting. And trail hunting is essentially a way of deploying a smokescreen to enable hunts to continue pretty much as they did before a ban came in. They do this by saying they're following an artificial scent, but we know, and the police know, and have been on record as saying that this is just nothing but a fiction. It's a lie. It's just created to design a method by which they can circumvent the law.
Right, thank you. And Chris, if you could let us know, what are the broader impacts of these illegal hunts? For example, what's the effect on rural communities, local wildlife, and how do you think closing this loophole will address these issues?
Yeah, I mean, the impact on rural communities in particular is huge. Every year we have incidents of hunts creating havoc within local communities, running across roads, railway lines. Hounds are killed frequently by passing traffic or trains themselves. It's not unheard of that domestic animals are caught up in hunts. Very famously, there was a case a few years ago with Millie the cat in Cornwall, where a pack of hounds ran through the village and savaged a cat. The huntsman was found guilty of that, and was also videoed kind of throwing the cat over a fence. And these are not unusual circumstances. The impact on rural communities in particular is extraordinary. They're fed up with it, everybody's fed up with it, and at the end of the day, this is wanton law breaking.
Right. Thank you, Chris. And what has been the response from the Labour Party regarding your call to strengthen the Hunting Act, and what commitments, if any, have they made to address these concerns?
Well, the Labour Party have always been strong advocates of an anti-hunt movement, and I'm pleased to say that in their manifesto they committed to banning trail hunting, but also pre-manifesto and pre-general election period they committed to not just banning trail hunting, but closing all of those loopholes and ending hunting once and for all. So we're encouraged that these are the steps that they've taken, but obviously talk is cheap. Actions are what matter, and hopefully, as per their commitment of banning hunting within the first term of a Labour government, we will see that and see moves to bring in those changes to the law that will help ban hunting for real without too much delay.
Yeah. Now, in terms of public sentiment, polling suggests that public support for strengthening fox hunting laws. How do you plan to leverage this public sentiment to garner more political support and ensure legislative changes are made?
Support for anti-fox hunting measures is the same whether you're in a rural community or whether you live in an urban environment. It's actually very, very little difference between the two, and it's generally about 80 to 85% of people, so 8 out of 10 people that you meet on the street are against fox hunting. The public has always been behind these measures. What we have to do is continue what we've been doing for the last few years, albeit with a supposedly more supportive government in place, in that they have already committed to strengthening those laws. So we will continue to pressurise and to cajole and to encourage and to support all efforts that are made to change the law for the better. Now, we've been doing this over many years with private landowners, the National Trust being one of them and the largest landowner in the country, and we were successful a few years ago in changing their laws and their bylaws to get hunting removed from their land. We will do the same with other private landowners, as well as doing all that we can to help support the government in bringing forward these changes.
That's great. Thank you so much for joining us today, Chris.
No worries.